Okay guys, so in this video we are going to learn how to solve algebraic equations. Solving equations is pretty easy if you follow the steps needed. So one big thing that you need to know is this. You are going to use inverse operation to solve always. Okay? The goal is to get the variable alone. You need to get it by itself, okay? In order to do that, you need to use inverse operation, okay? So, let's take a look. So, for example, if you look over here at some examples that we have, so they have 15 plus x equals 24. So what this equation is saying, and this is an equation because it has an equal sign. So it's not an expression, it's an equation. So 15 plus x equals 24. So what this is saying is 15 plus something equals 24. And I know that you could probably look at that and say it's 9, okay? But you have to be able to show your work for this. So what we're going to do to get x by itself is subtract 15 from both sides. And we're going to show our work. So if I subtract 15 from this side, I have to subtract 15 from this side of my equal sign. So on this side, 15 minus 15 is 0, so it poof, disappears. All that's left is x equals 24 minus 15 is 9. X is equal to 9. And I can check that by saying 15 plus 9 is 24. Okay? So we use the opposite operation. So this was 15 plus x. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. That was our inverse operation to get 9. Okay, it's that easy. Okay guys, so let's take a look at these equations. So we have an addition equation here. B plus 4 equals 9. So I told you you need to use inverse operation to solve. So that's what we're going to do. So this is B plus 4 equals 9. Now I know you can look at that and say 5 plus 4 is 9. I understand that, but we need to go through the steps of how to solve, and you need to show every step of your work. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. So we're going to show a minus 4 on this side and a minus 4 on this side. Okay? So 4 minus 4 is 0. So I'm left with B on this side. And 9 minus 4 is 5. So there I have it. B equals 5. And I would check that by saying 5 plus 4 equals 9. 9 does equal 9. So I'm good. Now this one, I have 17 is equal to y minus 4. Okay, so you would ask yourself, you'd be thinking, what number minus 4 is 17? Well, you know it's 21, but we need to go through the steps. So what is the opposite of subtraction? The inverse operation to that is addition. So what we're going to do is add 4 on this side. That gets rid of this 4, that isolates that, so it's just y. And that means I have to add 4 on this side. 17 plus 4 is 21. So then I can check that. 21 minus 4 equals 17. 17 equals 17. Check. And now on this side, we have 3m equals 27. Now anytime you have a number touching a variable, like we have here, that operation is multiplication. So 3 times m equals 27. So what number times 3 is 27? I know you're going to tell me 9. But what we have to do is use inverse operation to solve. So I'm going to divide by 3 on this side and then divide by 3 on this side. That cancels that 3 out. So m is equal to 9. So then I would say 3 times 9 equals 27. 27 equals 27. It checks out. Okay? Okay, let's take a look at this one. So we have d divided by 1 1/2 equals 5/6. Well, this looks a little complicated, right? It's fractions, oh no. But we can totally solve this. So what we have to do, we have division here. So what we have to do is use multiplication to undo our division, the inverse operation. So on this side of our equation, we're going to multiply by 1 1/2. That means we have to multiply by 1 1/2 on this side. Okay, so off to the side, I'm going to take 5, 6, and I have to multiply that by 1 1/2. That means I need to convert 1 1/2 to an improper fraction. So 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3 halves. And so I would say 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice. I can multiply across. I'm going to get 5 over 4. Okay. And so 5 divided by 4. I'm going to get 1 1/4. D is equal to 1 1/4. Now I can check that, okay, by saying, I'm going to erase so I have some room here. I'm going to put a little line. 1 1/4 divided by 1 1/2. Okay. So I am dividing 1 1/4 by 1 1/2, which is greater than 1. So I should get an answer smaller than 1 1/4, if you remember scaling fractions. And 5/6 is smaller than 1 1/4, right? So it does seem reasonable that that could be the answer. So I'm going to turn 1 1/4 into an improper fraction. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so that's 5/4. Divided by 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3, 3 halves. So I'm going to keep, change, flip, okay? And I'm going to say 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 4 twice. Now I'm going to multiply across. 5 times 1 is 5, 2 times 3 is 6. I get 5, 6 for my answer. It checks out, okay? So that was solving a division one that looks a little complicated, right? But we got through it just fine. Okay, lastly, I'm going to show you a two-step equation, okay? So if I have 3x plus 2 is equal to 8, okay? So the first thing I need to do here is I need to get rid of this plus 2. That's my constant, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. That leaves me a 3x on this side is equal to 6 on the other side. So now I have 3 times x equals 6. I need to undo my multiplication with division. Divide by 3 on both sides. X is equal to 2. So then I'm going to take this x is equal to 2 and I'm going to plug it in. So I'm going to take 3 times 2 plus 2 is equal to 8 and make sure it checks out. Well, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is equal to 8. 6 plus 2 is 8. It works. Check. Done. So that is it for solving equations. You're going to use inverse operation to solve for the variable. You should be thinking what number could make this true? Is my answer reasonable? Did I use inverse operation on both sides of my equal sign? Did I perform my check at the end to solve? Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful. Practice makes perfect, and we will keep practicing these. Thanks.